Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, X-wing players, and anyone who is potentially interested in X-wing or other Star Wars games, welcome to our channel. This is a channel that is dedicated to games inside the Star Wars universe. My call sign is BatMando. If you are new to X-wing, then this is the channel to watch, and if you are getting into 2.5, then this is the place to be. Welcome to our Star Wars X-wing community. If you are a brand new player to this game, then we just wanted to let you know that there are always plenty of pilots that are willing to help you at your local game store. There are plenty of veteran pilots out there that are willing to give you advice, insights, and strategies. But if you need more, that is what this channel is here for. This is our video series that we call Starfighter Orientation, where we smuggle all of the inside information that we can about every ship in the game. Even if you do not fly the faction of the ship that we are talking about in this video, it may be extremely useful to know all of its stats, actions, tactics, and top pilots. So, now, without any code clearance, I turn you over to your instructor. Best of luck to you, pilot. Greetings, recruits. My call sign is BatMando. Welcome to Starfighter Orientation. This week, we're going to be going over the T-70 X-wing. This is the bread and butter of the Resistance Navy. And yes, it does look like this is just a upgraded or updated version of the T-65, but the changes made to this ship make it a little bit harder to kill. And you will see that from its stats, which are right here on your screen now. As you can see, the standard T-70 boasts a whopping power of 3 attack dice. It also has a defense rating of 2 defense dice, and still the typical 4 hull, and this is a big change, 3 shields instead of 2 on the T-65. I'd like to also turn your attention on over to the action bar, which includes a focus token, a target lock, and a boost instead of a barrel roll. Now, for those of you who have been flying Rebel Alliance, then you know that you can put an upgrade in order to get boost on the T-65. The T-70 has it inherently, but you can take a different upgrade so that you can, and that is integrated S-foils. You can go ahead and put in integrated S-foils so that you can get the barrel roll option in your action bar. So that's something that you need to consider when we are doing the list building, which that video will come out on Wednesday. All right, so this thing, you may be looking at the dial right here saying that the dial looks almost exactly the same as the T-65, and you would be right with the exception of one maneuver, and that is the 3 blue instead of the 3 white forward. T-65s, they only have 6 blue maneuvers. This one has 7, which means that if you are using one of its 3 red maneuvers, you're going to be able to use any of the blue maneuvers or 1 extra blue maneuver than you would with a T-65. Now, I really enjoy the 4K and the 3 Talon rolls available because let's go ahead and say that some enemy ship slips in from behind. You can go ahead and flip around, try to take care of the enemy before the enemy takes care of you. So this is looking at its stats, this ship is a very flexible ship and can fulfill many of the different needs that you have in your lists for taking on objectives or just simply doing dogfighting. So now let's go ahead and talk about its tactics. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it's really good in a group. So if you can get, say, 5 T-70s together, yes, it is possible. Some people were actually afraid of this list when it became kind of meta. Now, since we don't know exactly what the community is doing with X-Wing Alliance or whatever group that you are currently following, it's kind of hard for me to tell you like what list to build at this point in time. But on Wednesday, when we do our list building video, you will see that we are going to be doing it for 2.5. So now what I will tell you is that the tactics of this particular ship, let's just be honest, it is meant for assault. Just like the T-65, it is meant to creep in, get close to a target within range 3, fire off that long distance weapon, whether it's a torpedo or if it's a missile. So you go ahead and fire that thing off, and hopefully it hits so that you can go ahead and speed in, get that range 1 attack, and eliminate the enemy ship that you were focused on at that point in time. So that is what this ship is done or is made for. It is meant to fight. It is also meant for dogfight. Yes, you can go ahead and use it to fly around the map and get objectives and claim objectives. And there's one particular pilot that kind of acts as support. But what I will tell you is that this ship is intended to go ahead and shoot at the enemy and destroy ships. All right. Now, let's just go ahead and move on to our next point, and that is going to be my top 3 pilots. Now, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, these are just my own 2 credits. If you have a point of opposition or a counter argument, then feel free to drop your pilots of choice in the comments below so that other people will be able to read your insight and then make their own decision as to which pilot that they think better fits their play style. So now, that being said, let's just go ahead and hear my opinion for the 2 credits that it's worth. Now, I am going to go ahead and say that my first option is going to be Poe Dameron, Trigger Happy Flyboy, because there are 2 different Poe Dameron pilot cards out there. So the second pilot that I normally go to is Elo Asti. And then, of course, I've heard people say this name in 2 different ways. So you have some people who just say nine, and you have some people who say mean. So in which case, either way, the Sarcastic Survivor is normally my third choice to put into a list. So let's go ahead and jump on in and talk about each individual pilot. So we have Poe Dameron here, the Trigger Happy Flyboy version. And what I like about his particular pilot ability is that after you perform an action, you may spend 1 charge to perform a white action, treating it as red. Now, you will also notice that this particular charge is recurring. So you can do this every time that you fly and then have actions to go. So imagine, if you will, you go ahead and fly in, you get, say, like a 3 or 4 forward, and then you decide to boost, and then you stress yourself so that you can have a focus to get that range 1 attack. So Poe can be very dangerous in that aspect because he can fly in and take care of business when absolutely necessary. The one thing that keeps me from using Poe all the time is the cost. Yeah, the cost is 7, and I'm also going to tell you that the loadout is pretty significant, but at the same time, we need, if you're working kind of on what I refer to as a budget within your list building, that you don't have the ability to afford 7 in 2.5 list building mechanics, then you need to go ahead and start looking at more of the economical choices. And my first economical choice is going to be Elo Asti. So after you reveal a red Talon roll, then if you have 2 or less stress tokens, then you may treat the maneuver as white. Hopefully you don't have any stress because you have 7 blue maneuvers. You can go ahead and pull a Talon roll at that point in time, and then you can go ahead and focus up after completing said maneuver. So that's going to be a pretty cool ability, especially if you have somebody who's going to fly in behind Elo, and hopefully Elo has a chance to, say, take care of the enemy before the enemy takes care of Elo. Let's go ahead and move on to my third pilot of choice, and that is going to be the Sarcastic Survivor himself, Neen Nub. So if you are just like, it's pronounced 9, just yell at me on the comments. After you gain a stress token, if there is an enemy ship in your primary arc at range 0 to 1, you may remove that stress token. So that's a pretty cool ability. So as I said, with the integrated S foils, if you go ahead and take a look at the card that I'm going to leave here, you can see that the integrated S foils not only give you a barrel roll option, but they have a focus linked barrel roll that is red. Imagine, if you will, that you go ahead and take the focus, barrel roll behind a enemy ship, then guess what? You can get rid of that particular stress that you just got yourself by doing that particular maneuver. So, all three of these pilots have their strengths and weaknesses, but I want to tell you that some people are very fearful of seeing 5 of these on the mats. So, we'll talk about that in a list that we build on Wednesday. Because think of it, if you have 5 of these, that means you are having to deal with 35 health points, if you will, to get rid of in order to wipe that list off the board, or just simply having to fly around and fend off these guys while you're trying to pick up objectives. Okay, so now it's time to take you to the outro and come back next week for our next ship. Same Batmando time, same Batmando channel. Thank you to Darksider Darmaset on DeviantArt for the use of your sci-fi dark wall texture. All right, thank you so much for all that useful information. If there was anything that you were unclear of during the video, we always provide these links in every video description of every video that we produce, and that is all the links to AMG, the community sites. We have a fandom for questions about ships, and then if you have questions about strategies or various other things, definitely check out the community hub. We're also going to tell you that we provide you links to all the list builders that we recommend, and with that being said, hopefully this helped you out. So if it did, help us out by clicking like on the videos that you like, and we know what more videos to create more of. Please make sure to subscribe to our future transmissions and get your friends to also subscribe as well, because we always need new pilots. That being said, thank you so very much for watching. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram or friend us on Facebook. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below so that other people can see the questions and learn from them just like you. All right, so thank you to Slides Go, Flat Icon, Free Pick for the use of their media in our presentation. And as always, Batmando out.